Welcome back to Iron Lotus Martial Arts, the world leader of discipleship-focused martial arts. I'm Shihan Fusts. Joining me today, soon to be Sensei Evan, we're going to be looking at delayed sword, again, from our yellow belt curriculum. So the delayed sword from our curriculum here is responding to a left-right combo. So for instance, somebody's going to come after me with this left-right combo, and I'm going to be taken by surprise from this, and I need to create space. So point of contact, okay? I'm creating space. Point of control, I've got to reverse this. If my opponent misses with that first, it's pretty likely he's going to snap over here with a right. Now this right punch, I want to block. So there's two variations I teach on this because our original variation here is to block downward. Now, there's a lot of scrimps in this world. I'm 6'2", he's 6'3", almost four. All right, so we're on the taller side of things. Okay, so we will block down, but there's a lot of short people that we teach, and we have to adapt our Kenpo because if we do not adapt, our Kenpo is useless, right? So in order to adapt, I'm just going to have him do one of these big, tall haymaker over things, and we're going to block up with it and see how it works, okay? So again, he catches me off guard. I'm maybe looking at my phone or whatever, and I see this out of my corner of my eye, boom, I'm going to get my universal block. Again, I'm in cat stance, right foot forward. I've got my right hand down, protecting my groin. I've got my left hand up under my chin. This is my universal block. Check this out. I can block this. I can block something from over here. I can block a kick either side off that front crane, okay? So when we get into this standpoint here, boom, now this is coming, right? Boom, I'm gonna go ahead and snap kick to the stomach or the groin. At the same time, I'm gonna execute my block. Now, if I execute my block high, that's great. I'm gonna bring it low right after I block as I sink into my chop, okay? And that chop, again, we are targeting right in here, collarbone action. We got the throat going on in here. We got a lot of great spots for this chop. But I want to talk about the chop, okay? A lot of times we chop and we do these big sweeping elbow motions. Check this out. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff with this, okay? Backup mass. When you see a boxer throwing a jab, typically they rotate their elbow out and then they throw their jab. This is problematic because if I rotate my elbow out, just press against that joker. If I rotate my elbow out, there's no backup mass between my fist and the rest of my body, and this thing can collapse, okay? When we throw our jabs, we throw them straight, okay? Again, if you're watching here, we throw them straight, and I rotate my hip with complementary rotational force. There's a whole video on that. I would encourage you to check it out, okay? But with the idea here that this chop is not simply here, okay? I can get power on a downward sweeping chop like in Chinese sword A, okay? That's great. I'm not doing a downward sweeping chop. I'm falling out of a snap kick, which means I should be in, what is this? Soft bow. If I hit soft bow here, I can't effectively here. That's not going to give me any power whatsoever. Oh, well, Shihan, you could just twist into dragon stance. Yes, but then you will be unbalanced. It could work. It could work, right? It could work, right? But instead, I want to do what we call the kinetic jab or the kinetic chop. It's a driving chop where I'm going to twist my foot simultaneously as I twist my hand. So check this out. That very last section right here, very last minute, boom. That's where my chop is going. I'm not flaring my elbow. I'm not doing these. I'm going forward and snap, okay? Same principle here, right? Forward and snap. That's where we're going. And you notice I am not leaning into it. I have my body balanced and upright, almost like I'm in training horse, square horse. But I'm going to twist, and as I twist, my hip is going to go forward to keep my balance straight. I'm still upright, erect posture, and vertical. Now this is going to drive more power this direction. Check this out. When I simply do a chop here, that's all I can get, okay? I'm just going to hold on to his elbow, or his shoulder, rather. Okay, now I'm going to twist my heel. Check this out. I'm still balanced. He is no longer balanced. That is about 8 to 10 more inches of striking penetration that we didn't have if we just did the elbow. So again, deep dive study, okay? This is complementary rotational force. This is kinetic structure, okay? And this kinetic structure is going to allow us to drive deeper into our strikes with better balance and better power simply by using the kinetic chain. using your bone alignment. Another note on this, just like on the jab, if you guys saw that video, if I'm throwing my jab here, that means it stops right here at my shoulder, okay? I did this, let me get a bow real quick. Oh, there's one over here. Yep. Yes, it is late at night. We are exhausted. But bow, look at this. It's not the right color. It's gonna be hard to see. Let's move closer. All right, check it out. If he holds this bow and he lines it up with my elbow, right here, where it continues to go past me, that is the extent of the backup mass, right? Just like with my jab, if I'm throwing my jab right here, this shoulder is now my breaking point. It's shooting past me at quite an alarming rate, actually, okay? As most jabs. But if I shift and turn, now it's completely lined up with the rest of my shoulders. And that's gonna give us more power on our jabs, more power on our chops. Why? Because the backup mass is completely broken down into the rest of your body, okay? Again, if I'm going to, you can just go ahead and we'll push. We'll do the jab or the chop, okay? Just push, right? I'm just gonna chop right here. I don't have enough backup mass. He can push. Oh, come on, keep pushing. Come on, give me more. Oh, it collapses, right? He's gonna give me more, okay? Now I'm just gonna shift it into my kinetic, okay? All right, I'm still upright posture. He's gonna keep pushing. My arm doesn't collapse, but he can push me off, okay? He had to push a lot more power on that, yeah? Yeah. So we wanna be able to put that much kinetic mass into my opponent every single time. Deep dive study on the chop and the kinetic energies and everything else. Yes, we understand. It's crazy. All right, so delayed sword, that's what we're working on. I'm stepping back, universal block, dodge that punch. I'm gonna shoot high and chop as I step in, okay? And when I step in, I'm turning and I'm chopping in. This is also gonna give me a point of escape where I can just push and cover out. That makes sense? Right? You okay? It gets you in the throat a little bit? All right. All right, so in the air, how does this look? I'm gonna go left foot back. My right hand's covering my groin. My left is gonna go ahead and come right up under my chin, but off my body, okay? I was working with a student tonight, and he's all the way up here on his chest. Well, if I try to block, I could clock myself in the chin, but that's a different story for another day. All right, so I've got my good block in here. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and fire that snap kick. Boom, I like to fire the snap kick and the block simultaneously. Doesn't matter if it's a downward block or if it's an upward block, okay? My other hand starts coming up like I'm drinking water, okay? Here, step, turn, get that kinetic chop in there, and cover out, okay? I don't care how you cover out, just do it, okay? Whatever works for your body type, where you are, as long as you are getting back to a defensible position and evaluating safely your environment, okay? From the rear, so you guys can follow along. All right, jumping, lunging, shuffling, back on my left foot, pulling to a nice cat stance, right hand to the groin, left hand under the chin. Snap kick, fire my block simultaneously, step, and execute that kinetic chop. Now check this out, floating foot, okay? The advanced students, we're talking blue belt and up. Advanced students, I want you to start trying the floating foot. Floating foot, broken down in its simplest principle, is the idea that the footwork that is to be done here with this can be done not on the ground, but in the air. For instance, in one of our red belt techniques, we actually teach this. This is in part of reversing dragons. Okay, so I've gotten into here. Now I need to C-step around, right? And I'm gonna knee him. But I'm gonna launch that C-step, boom, into that first knee, and that's gonna be followed by that second knee, okay? It's still, at its core, a C-step that then lifts, okay? So floating foot, I can do footwork whilst in the air. Now, how does this apply to delayed sword? I have my snap kick here. What if I made contact timed just before, made my initial contact just before I planted the foot? So I'm gonna turn the hip, squish that forward bug, almost like a side driving knife edge kick, and I'm gonna slide into it, and I'm gonna drive more impact power right here at that first point of impact. Why? Because I can do this, or I can do this. Which one has more impact power? It's pretty obvious. So it takes some time to develop that, but you have to start somewhere. You gotta start footwork here, Okay. Once I get footwork here, now I can do footwork there. And I can start retiming my ability to put more power, more point of control, more point of escape. Yes? All right, so that is going to be a brief-ish walkthrough on delayed sword. Train responsibly. We'll see you guys on the next video.